Today I'm going to talk about broiling. Broiling is a very popular way to prepare steaks, pork chops, fish, chicken, vegetables, a lot of appetizers, baked potato skins, stuffed mushrooms. But we're going to do a whole different method of broiling today, and that's making an Italian frittata. And a frittata is usually made with eggs, and it's a different kind of egg dish. Broiling is using the oven, and it's the top element in the oven which causes the meat, whatever, to brown, and that's what we're going to work at today. But to begin with, you're going to have to get the whole frittata ready, and once it's ready, then we'll put it under the broiler so that it will melt the cheese and brown the cheese. Some of the things you're going to learn today: broil means to cook by direct heat, and that's what your oven will do, is the direct heat. Pan broil is on top of the stove, and a lot of times you'll do a pan broiling, like say pork chops. You want to broil those real quickly, or chicken breasts or something like that. So you would do it on top of the stove top. So going into this recipe, it's a Italian frittata, and it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to start the butter out, get that warmed up, and then we'll move into getting the ingredients ready. And because it's an Italian frittata, there's going to be some different spices in it. There is going to be some nice vegetables and some accompaniments that go along with it. It called for a 1/4 pound of mushrooms, and I have a couple of ways to clean a mushroom. This is a mushroom brush. It's real fine and it's very soft. You don't want to use a regular vegetable brush because those bristles are too tough, too hard. There, I think you can see it. Okay, and all you're going to do is just take your mushroom and brush any dirt off of it. That's one way to clean a mushroom. You don't want to put them in water. Mushrooms are a sponge, and they will absorb water, which is not what you want to happen with these. The other way is to take you take a paper towel, get it damp. You don't want it wringing, sopping wet, and wipe off any brown, any dirt, anything like that on the mushroom. So that's how you clean a mushroom. Don't put them in water. That's a big no-no. And then we're going to slice them. And I have most of them sliced here. I just wanted to save one for you. So you take your French chef's knife, big knife, or you could do a paring knife, but I kind of like my French chef's knife, and just make thin slices. So I have the mushrooms ready. And we're going to add some red bell peppers because it adds some color, and it also adds some more nutrients, some of those vital nutrients that we need. We need to get some of that pulp out of the center. And I'm going to dice this. So I'll cut it in strips, and then I'll go back and dice it. And I also have some green onion that I'm going to cut up and put in there. Turn this around. And what we'll do is we'll cook these till they're tender crisp. Cook them in the butter. Bell peppers are a nice way to add color to dishes, and that helps make this more of an Italian dish too, by using the bell peppers. So I cut them in strips and then line the strips up so I can cut across to chop them. Okay, there's the peppers. And my green onions. And what I'll do is cut the ends off, the little parts that have the stems on them, or the roots, not the stems. I need to wash these off. And these you'll want to dice also. I'm just getting a cutting board full of, so you'll just, cutting board full of veggies here, stuff. So you're just going to cut across the ends and go up part way on the stems. You don't want all the stems. And I did peel away some of the extra. That's about as much as I want in there. And then I'll dice them just a little bit finer. That way they'll come apart when I start to cook them. And I hear my butter is bubbly, so this will go in my skillet now. And I have a non-stick skillet, so I need to get a wooden spoon so I can stir this. But I don't want to mess up my coating on this. Let me spread these out. While that's cooking, I'm going to get the eggs ready. And it takes 6 eggs, and always break them in a separate bowl, just in case you get an eggshell or something like that, and then you can transfer it to a bigger bowl. I have 5 egg yolks there, so it means I need 1 more egg. At least you can count them that way. Okay, get rid of this. Get this out of the way too. Okay, now, I have to beat the egg yolk, or eggs. So I'm going to take my wire whisk and beat this really hard. I want them nice and fluffy. I need to give this a little stir. Oh, the mushrooms are cooking up nicely. The red bell peppers are smelling wonderful. Okay, so I want to beat this. And this whisk will incorporate air into the eggs, and that's what you want to do with these. And then it says to add the parsley, which is what I have in this dish. the basil in this one, and 2 tablespoons of the Parmesan cheese, grated cheese. And I measured out the 1/4 cup, and then 2 tablespoons of that goes into this egg mixture right now. We'll mix this up. And the other thing I need to do right now is to preheat my oven, and I have to preheat the broiler. So I'm going to go over to my oven, and there is a setting on all ovens that says broil, and I want a low broil. I don't want it too fast, because we don't want the eggs to get too done. If you cook eggs on too high a temperature and cook them too long, they get tough. And we want these to be nice and tender. And I think right now my mushrooms and onions and red bell peppers have all cooked up very nicely. And what I'm going to do is pour this egg mixture on top of it. I'm just going to pour it over the top. And I'm not going to stir anything. This stays exactly the way it is right now. And we're going to just cook this until it starts getting brown on the edges. This is a little bit different than if you were making a omelet or scrambled eggs, where you certainly would want to cook those. But this is a little bit different dish. It's called a frittata, but it is an egg dish. And so we'll just watch this and let this cook, and the eggs will cook up and get nice and solid. I've checked the edges, and what you want to happen with this is that it turns lightly brown at the edges. And if I pull it away from the edge with my rubber spatula, my rubber scraper, it is lightly brown. So I'm going to sprinkle the rest of the Parmesan cheese on top of this, and then it will go under the broiler, because the eggs are not completely set on top. And once it's under the broiler, that'll help set the eggs. So if I get this sprinkled all over. Cheese gives it just a nice flavor. Okay. I'm going to take it over, and the only thing that's hot in this oven is this upper element, and I didn't want it too close to the top, so I'll put it underneath like that. And always leave the door ajar when you do a broil, because in order to make it broil, you need to have the heat going out all the time. Because if you close the door, then it does not make those upper elements keep heating continually. So we want that to heat and let the Parmesan cheese melt and the rest of the eggs set. So as soon as that's done, then I'll pull it out and we can look at it. I checked the eggs and they are set. We can smell the Parmesan that's toasting and melting it smells wonderful. So I'm going to pull them out because the Parmesan has melted, and shut my oven off. Now to serve this, you cut this in wedges. And I don't want to use a knife on it because I don't want to hurt my non-stick. So I'm going to use my pancake turner that's made especially for non-stick, and just slice down through and cut a pie-shaped wedge, and I'll serve it up. onto a plate. And that's what a frittata looks like. It's a nice dish. It would be a nice dish if you had friends over or company, or if you just wanted to have a nice Sunday brunch. Another brunch idea for you. So that's what it looks like on the plate. This is what it looks like in the skillet. Kind of like a big pie, an egg pie. And that's the end of the frittata.